football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, y'all can save the date. It's gonna be a momentous occasion. I can't wait for this fight. I gotta say, I gotta give credit to Eddie Hearn. I gotta give credit to everybody involved that put this fight together, because I truthfully feel, I know the Mexico versus UK rivalry has been viewed to be a pretty one-sided occasion, but I do think this is probably the most competitive UK versus Mexico fight at the top level in years. I mean, in years. And the fight's going to be between none other than WBA featherweight champion, as he puts his title on the line once and for all against none other than the Mexican knockout artist, Mexican pressure fighter, the man himself, Mauricio Lara. And this will be out there in Nottingham, in Leigh Wood's hometown, out there in England. So it should be a hell of a fight. Now let's talk about it. Leigh Wood was a guy that for a long time wasn't really getting it done in boxing. He had shown himself to be durable, shown himself to be a strong fighter, shown himself to have some positive attributes about him, but then he didn't really burst on the scene until he beat up on Zhu Can, stopped Zhu Can in the 12 rounds. Then last year, was fighting Mick Conlan in what was a very close fight, and that went to the 12th round, and he literally knocked Michael Conlan out into like the next dimension. I mean, one of the most devastating knockouts in a big fight we've seen in years, and he did it in such a great fashion. So he deserves a lot of credit for where he came in boxing. But we got to ask some questions of Leigh Wood, because Leigh Wood at this moment in time, he's 34. He's a guy that fights a style that lends itself to a lot of punishment, and he's been in some... That last fight was a war. That last fight had to have taken something out of him. So we're going to see. We're going to see, because this is a fight, when we look at Zhu Can, right? When we look at Zhu Can and Mick Conlan, Zhu Can was a volume puncher with like not a lot of defense, who was also a light puncher as well. And Leigh Wood found a way to get him out of there. Then he fought Mick Conlan, a guy that is more of a mover. But this fight right here, this is Leigh Wood taking on a guy that's going to bring the, he's going to bring the fire, and Mauricio Lara is going to bring the fire to try to match him. And we're going to find out whose fire is hotter on the night. Leigh Wood's a guy that gets a lot of credit for being a pretty strong fighter. I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw it somewhere. It might have been a Ring Magazine article. But Naoya Inoue apparently did some sparring with Leigh Wood at some point in time. And he said that Leigh Wood was like one of the strongest fighters he ever been in the ring with, So it shows you the level he's on, shows you the level he's at. And he's proven that strength and pushing guys back and imposing his will on a fight as his specialty. But Lara, let's talk about him, man, because he's what boxing is all about. He's what boxing is all about. He's a perfect example of what I talk about when I talk about fighters just being one fight away from making a name for themselves in boxing. This is a guy that fought in obscurity out there in Mexico. I mean, go look at his resume and the guys he was fighting and the venues he fought at. He was fighting in Mexico City and Tijuana consistently. Had one little fight in Argentina, and then all of a sudden, after he beat a 28-10 guy named Sergio Puente, journeyman, all of a sudden after that fight, he got the call for the Josh Warrington fight. And he beat the brakes off of Josh Warrington. Exposed Josh Warrington. Stopped him in 9 rounds. Then, rematch was very controversial because of the cut over Lara's eye. And the fight got stopped in the second round, and it was a technical draw. He's then followed that up by knocking out Emiliano Sanchez and Jose San Martin. And he's just proven himself to be one of the most vicious punchers in this weight class. Some people think he might be the best fighter in this weight class. There are people that do say that. For me right now, I think featherweight's still a very fluid division. We're still trying to figure out who's who. I think right now, based on current form and wins, you got to say that probably, Leigh Wood is the guy to beat in the division. So if in my eyes, if Mauricio Lara beats up on Leigh Wood, especially because if Lara beats Leigh Wood, it's only going to be one way. It's only one or two ways. It's going to be either A, he knocks him the hell out or stops him, or B, he's going to grind him down and outwork him and show that his fire is hotter and that he can out-volume Leigh Wood. You know, that's the only two ways he's beating Leigh Wood, and vice versa. Neither one of these guys is gonna get on their toes. Like for all you guys that were complaining and bitching and moaning about Karen Chukajan moving around the ring and making things hard on Jorel Ennis, if you were one of those people, watch this fight, because you won't have any complaints. You know, these guys are gonna come to fight, and like I say, man, for me, if Leigh Wood wins this fight against Bronco Lara, especially with the run of form he's been on the last 3-4 fights, Leigh Wood would have to, in my opinion, be like in the discussion for being like one of the best pound fighters in the UK. I mean, he should be kind of like in the honorable mention right now. But he beats, I mean, he beats Leigh Wood, or he beats Mauricio Lara. You're talking about a 3-fight run of Zhu Can, Mick Conlan, and now Mauricio Lara. That's about as good as you can get in the featherweight division right now. So it's just a great fight. Like, for all the talk, like we have a lot of boxing fans that hate British fighters or hate Mexican fighters, and that's unfortunate because those are two great boxing nations, right? But like, I think like Leigh Wood is one of the fighters from the UK that you really shouldn't be able to say anything bad about. He's awesome. His fights are entertaining to watch, and he goes out there and fights with his heart and his sleeve every single time. And the same thing on Mauricio Lara. Every time he goes out there and he fights with his heart and his sleeve every single time. So I think right now this fight to me is, in my eyes, a celebration of some of the best that Mexican and British boxing have to offer, because it's two of the truest and most noble Mexican and British warriors squaring off for a world title. I mean, how could it get much better than this? So, you know, that's my little thoughts on the fight. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.